So, again, I will emphasize extensors of the foot live on top of the foot and anterior leg portion. Always. It doesn't mean there can't be some other stuff kind of snuck in there, but flexors are always on the back of the leg and the bottom of the foot. So this gives you a great way to divide them up. So today we're looking at extensors, so we're going to be looking at muscles on the top of the foot and front of the leg. Let's do that. Okay. So, here we have some muscles that are doing just that, right? Oh yes, Miss Monreal, please.
I don't know if you just addressed this and I missed it,
Sure.
but if it's bringing the foot closer, why is that called an extensor, not a flexor? I mean, because it's an extension like away, but flexion is bringing it closer?
Yeah. Well, for one thing, these terms don't work perfectly. But also, if you think about your toes here, right? This is me extending them out. This is me flexing them in. Extending them out, flexing them in.
Okay.
When it comes to the foot, we call a dorsiflexion. Going towards you too. I mean, I look at dorsiflexion as an extension, by the way, but it doesn't matter. It's a dorsiflexion. I mean, I get why they call it that way. It's because the angle closes that way too. So you're right. It's not perfect, but these are essentially that kind of extension kind of action. And the reason I lump dorsiflexion and toe extension together is if you pull on your toes hard enough, you start to dorsiflex. I hope that makes sense to everybody. If I have toe muscles that can extend my toes and they really extend, they will cause me to dorsiflex. Which is why when we look at this picture here of a dorsiflexion, the main muscle that's doing the dorsiflexion is the tibialis anterior. That's the main muscle. That's its job, really. But is it getting help from the extensor digitorum longus and extensor hallucis longus? Yes. Do we see how the extensor digitorum longus goes to the digits and the extensor hallucis longus goes to the big toe? Do we see how they're all found in the same kind of anterior compartment of the leg? Yes, I hope. Miss Monreal, did you have more, by the way? Your hand was still up. I just didn't know. No. Okay. Cool. All right. We have talked about inversions and eversions. Yeah, I want to get into this. I think it throws off what we're discussing. Don't worry about it right now. I really mean that. Let's look at extensors here. So, tibialis anterior creates a dorsiflexion, but in a way, that is an extensor of the ankle, in the sense that it goes up like this, like the toes do. So tibialis anterior. Please remember, please look at this picture very carefully. Please remember that the tibialis anterior starts on the lateral side of the leg and ends up on the medial side of the leg. That's how it does what it does. It crosses over your shin down by the foot. It comes over. That's how it reaches in and grabs the foot and creates an inversion. It couldn't do an inversion if it didn't cross from the lateral side to the medial side. That's how it inverts. This picture doesn't completely show it as well as it possibly could. It's very hard to show. But your tibialis anterior is on the outside of your leg, the lateral side of your leg, but it inserts to the medial part of your foot. It crosses over the foot, okay? And that's why it can create an inversion. Now, it inserts into the medial cuneiform and the base of the fifth metatarsal. Here's a foot. Here's a foot right here. This is the lateral side. We know this is the lateral side because the fibula is the tiny bone on the lateral side of my foot. It's on the outside of my foot. There's a tibialis anterior here. It runs down. It crosses over my foot to the medial side. And there are 3 bones down here that you can't see because they're under tendons. but they are cuneiforms, and the most medial one is right here. Medial cuneiform, and it inserts right into here. This and the base of the first metatarsal right in here. Inserts right down in there. I hope when you're rubbing feet you're getting this area, because that's where it inserts. Right? And eventually we're going to study peroneals that come around the other way and come down here and insert down here too and create the stirrup of the foot. But their actions are opposite, so we're not going to study them today. So that's tibialis anterior. Then you've got extensor digitorum longus, right? It's up there on the tibia and the fibula, and it's got an origin of something called interosseous membrane. What the heck is interosseous membrane? Anybody have a guess what interosseous membrane is?
It's the fascia between the tibia and the
Fibula.
fibula.
Yeah. That was fantastic. So, I don't know if Miss Gianna's memorized that or she figured it out. Either way, it's fantastic. But inter means between. Osseous is bone. Interosseous membrane is the membrane between the bones. Your body isn't hollow like this. It's got all these spaces, but it fills them up with fascia to make them stronger. So there's interosseous membrane between the bones, and the extensor digitorum grabs onto that. It grabs onto the bones, but it also grabs onto that fascia in between there. Could this area get really sore with all that fascia being pulled on and those bones in there and stuff like that? Yeah, you really can. You really, I know I've said it 10 times, but I'll say it 10 more. You really want to be hitting the anterior lateral compartment of everybody's leg in almost every massage, unless there's a specific reason not to do it. Most therapists don't. They gloss over the anterior lateral compartment of the leg, and it's actually one of the most important areas to get. It will make your massage more unique, more effective, and it will make you stand out against other therapists. Please make sure you massage it. Yes, Miss Petrie.
So did you say that the membrane, or fascia, because that's what membrane is, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Fascia.
Sure.
So, did you say that it's between the anterior tibialis and the fibula? Is that what it's between?
It's between the tibia and the fibula. It's between the
Okay.
bones. It's between the bones. You have the same thing, by the way, everybody, on your forearms here. You've got two bones on your forearms. We haven't studied forearms yet, but we're going to. Forearms right here. You've got an interosseous membrane up here too. It's a membrane between the two bones. It makes them stronger, and it gives a place for stuff to attach to and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Interosseous just means between bones. Inter between osseous bone, between bone membrane. And so it's between the tibia and the fibula. That help?
So what is the best way to get into that area?
Drop an elbow in there. I do. I find the shin when they are supine on their spine. I find the shin on purpose, touch it with my elbow, drop off the shin, and drive down through the leg. And Miss Petrie, I'll show you. Just based on your
Yeah,
face.
that doesn't feel good.
That's why I want to show you.
Okay. Are you dropping off medially or laterally?
I'm dropping off laterally. If I drop off medially, you'll
Okay.
kill them. You'll be running on pure bone.
Right.
Drop off laterally. There's very
Okay.
thick.
Yeah, that's really tender.
Yeah, it might be really tender. And by the way, I mean, sometimes you can just use your fingers or your thumb, but some people can take a tremendous amount of pressure in this area.
Okay.
Yeah.
Understand.
Cool.
I did that. You had suggested that last week, and I did that in the massage I gave my husband on Sunday, and he was like, "Whoa, nobody's ever massaged that like that."
He's had massage before, right?
Yeah.
So, thank you, Miss Walker. So I really want us to pay attention to what Miss Walker said. She did this on a client who's had multiple massages before, and he said nobody's ever done this before. Those tend to be the type of moves that get people coming back to you. Because people are like, oh my gosh, she's amazing. She does this thing on my leg. Nobody's ever done it before. She must be amazing. Right? Always work the anterior lateral compartment of the leg. It It is the stirrups of the foot. It is part of a whole bunch of fascial lines we're going to find out about. It's important. Cool. Thank you, Miss Walker. Yeah, that's exactly how I feel about it. Did he like it, by the way?
Yeah, he loved it.
Yeah. Good.
Really, he got in there good.
Yeah. Yeah, is he athletic?
She taught me how to do pressure points down the lateral part of the leg compartment.
Yeah. That would
with
work
your
too.
thumb.
Yeah. That would work too.
So that's the only way that I really knew how to properly get in there without feeling like I'm gonna cause damage or bruising.
Well, once you've done the pressure point with some oil, just turn it into a stroke.
Okay, so just start gliding.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't overthink it.
Breaking it out. Okay.
You're not going to do any damage. I guarantee that. They
I'm
might
just
kick
thinking
you.
that it feels tender. Like even when she does the pressure points that she taught me, it feels really tender. So
Yeah.
I don't really feel like I would want somebody to put an elbow in there. I feel like I would drop the table. Like nope.
You might not, and I don't just drop an elbow into everybody's shit. But I have clients who can take that pressure. That's all I'm saying. So yes, for you, honestly, when I'm doing your calf muscle with you like face down, I might actually stroke your lateral compartment with my thumb instead. Yes, and that would be it for you. But when I get these people who are like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. I wish you'd go deeper in there. Face up, I'll take that and do that. And you're absolutely right. Not everybody can take that.
Yeah.
But that's true of all massage, right? We've got people where they're like, that's too deep. And other people where they're like, could you go harder? And it's like, what? I just punched you. Yeah. Okay, cool. So extensor digitorum longus, which is really the long muscle that extends the digits. So it is found anterior and on top all day long. I will be asking that question all day long for days to come. And it inserts down little toesy wosies. The middle of the distal phalanges, right? So literally, it helps to extend your toes. Why would we want to extend our toes, especially when we're walking? Miss Walker's class had this for homework last night. Why would you want to extend your toes? Or you guys had this for homework last night. What was your answer? Why would you want to extend your toes? Sorry, I got my homeworks mixed up. People said lots of stuff like to grip the ground. These don't help you grip the ground. Flexors help you grip the ground. Extensors help you let go of the ground. Yes, Miss Monreal.
I don't know, for balance and to take a step.
How do they help you with balance? And how do they help you take a step?
Your toes? Are you asking how do your toes?
Yeah. Or
I
this
don't
muscle.
know, cut them off and then let's see how well you can walk. I'm just kidding.
No, you're right though. You are right, ma'am. You need your toes for balance. There's no doubt about it. But how does the extension of my toes help with balance?
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah. So, well, then I'll just go with my other answer to be able to take a step.
And how does it help you take a step?
Well, you have to bring your foot up in order to put it down.
Oh, now she's onto something. You have to pick your toes up every time you take a step, otherwise you'll trip over them. Your extensor digitorum actually helps to get your toes out of the way so you can take your next step. I'm not saying it doesn't do some other things, but that's really one of the big jobs, is to lift it up and get it out of the way. And once again, it gets really sore. Hold on, somebody wants to come in here. Come on in. Can I help you?
Yeah, I'm doing inventory.
Oh, you're doing inventory?
Yeah, can I take a look at this?
Yeah, please do. I'm going to keep, they're doing inventory. They're checking tables and things like that. Anyway, so it helps to lift your toes up out of the way so you don't trip over them. And that's its main purpose. So when somebody does a lot of hiking, yes, their calves can get tired, but their shins get really tired too, because their shins are helping with balance. Anterior tibialis is inverting, while peroneals are everting. And the extensor digitorum is right by those two muscles, and it's trying to lift the toes up out of the way every time you take a step. Every time you take a step. So again, all of this is another big speech about why you want to massage the anterior lateral compartment, because that's where you find anterior tibialis, peroneus longus and brevis, extensor digitorum longus, and extensor hallucis longus, really. 5 muscles all in that little anterior lateral compartment of the leg. Yeah? Miss Monreal, did you still have a question? No. Okay. All right. No. Then we have the extensor hallucis longus. It is also attached to the interosseous membrane. And it goes to the distal phalanx of the first toe. What is the distal phalanx of the first toe? What does that mean? It inserts to the distal phalanx of the first toe. Yes, Ms. Petrie.
Well, distal is away. So, and then phalanx means one toe. And
One.
phalanges means multiple,
Right.
right?
Yep. So,
And then the first toe is the big toe.
thank you, Ms. Petrie. That's exactly what I was looking for. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On your first toe, you've got a distant and a proximal phalanx or phalange, and you just said it's this one, and you are correct. Good job. Good job. If we go back here and look at the extensor digitorum longus, it inserts into the middle and distal phalanges of the 2nd through 5th toe. Here's the distal ones. Here's the middle ones. Yeah. So that's where all that stuff's grabbing onto to move the toes. Can somebody tell me where middle phalange number 1 is? Anybody? Middle phalange number 1. On the feet or the hands. Yes, Miss Hunter.
Is it? I want to say it's the middle finger.
Well, that
is it not?
This is number 3.
It's not number 3, so it has to be number 1, which is the thumb.
Yes, middle phalange number 1. Thumb or big toe. But give me a little bit more.
Okay, so the middle one would be, hold on. Phalange, alright, wait a second. I gotta look at your, is it the metatarsal? The one that's second, like underneath the toe. I'm not exactly sure.
So this one, so we've got here, we've got a metacarpal or metatarsal, and then these are wrist bones if we're doing that. Hold on, I just saw somebody. Oh, what do you think, Miss Hunter? Or was that Miss Petrie? Who raised their hand just now? No, maybe.
I don't know.
Middle phalange number 1. You won't find it in your book, Miss Giannis. Yes, Miss Walker.
I just made a comment. I think it might be a trick question.
You think it might be a trick question?
I don't think there is a middle phalange number 1.
You're right. There's
Yeah,
no
I
middle.
wasn't, yeah.
There's no middle phalange number 1 because you only have 2 phalanges on number 1. A distal and a proximal one. All of these, the rest of your fingers and toes, you've got 3 phalanges. Look, you can see it on your actual finger. There's 1, 2, 3. On my thumb, 1, 2. Yeah, it's a trick question to see if you understand the concept of phalanges. Cool? So very good, by the way, Miss Walker. There is no middle phalange number 1. There is a middle phalange number 2, 3, 4, and 5, but not number 1. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay, good. As long as it makes sense. Okay. That's it. So let's recap here. We just looked at the muscles of the anterior lateral, not all of them, but anterior, especially anterior leg. And in that area, we found the anterior tibialis. We found the extensor digitorum longus and the extensor hallucis longus. Now, when we go down to the foot, we're going to find some other small ones that help us do this stuff. This is the stuff up on the shin. These are the bigger guys. They're up on the shin. And then we know if we go more laterally, we're going to find the peroneals. Those are not extensors, though, but we're going to find the peroneals. Peroneus longus and brevis, or fibularis longus and brevis, are the same muscles, just different names. And so now we have a pretty good idea of what exists in the anterior compartment of the leg. And we have a pretty good idea of why we should massage it, because the muscles of the anterior compartment of the leg control inversions and eversions, dorsiflexions, plantar flexions. They lift toes up and big toes up so we don't trip over them. They have an awful lot to do with balance and getting stuff out of the way when you take a step. So this should be a spot that you do in every massage. It's as important as the calves, if not more so. And it's overlooked. Cool, cool, cool. All right, let's take a break there, and then we'll regroup. Let's take a break here. We'll regroup.